In typical James Gunn fashion, the director and DC Studios co-chair gave us a first look at Millie Alcock's Supergirl in a still photo he released on social media last week. The post also confirmed filming recently began. The weekend's NFL Division Championships provided space for a new-ish Superman trailer with mostly the same footage but a different look at Nicholas Holt's Lex Luthor. And our final DC news nugget, actor Ulrich Thompson was cast as villain Sinestro for the upcoming Lantern series. Thompson is a Danish actor who is seen in The Blacklist here in the States. In comics, Sinestro is Hal Jordan's mentor. Is the drip drip of DC news fueling the fire for the engine of the hype train?
It honestly is for me. I was already very excited about James Gunn, being hired to tackle this universe and to bring it back to life, and especially with a character that I've really loved since childhood. Spider-Man's always been my favorite superhero, but Superman had a special place in my heart. My dad introduced me to the original Christopher Reeve film, and we had a big bond over those and enjoying those, and I just could never make sense as to why no one else was loving Superman now. Like where this character had gone, where the love gone for it. Why can't they get the movies right? I wasn't a big fan of the Snyderverse. I enjoyed for the most part what they were trying to do with Man of Steel, and I liked Henry Cavill's performance overall, but I was missing the hope, the joy, and seeing James Gunn get the job for this and taking it on gave me some actual hope for the character of Hope. And once the trailer was revealed, I'm sold. I'm sold on it altogether. I've bought completely in on the hype train. I'll be there opening weekend for it. Corn Sweat looks amazing. The visuals of it look incredible, and I just love that it's coming into an established universe of sorts already. I've really enjoyed Creature Commandos on Max, and seeing that this is almost going to feel like this bright, loving character that's trying to find the good in mankind and the good in this world, coming into what is essentially a very, very shitty world on Creature Commandos, and seeing how that's all going to come together. The little preview during the divisional weekend was great. I'm expecting some more footage probably during Super Bowl weekend. And with that as well, like you brought up Millie Alcock as Supergirl, and I'm not sure if it's confirmed that she's going to appear in Superman. I would expect
I believe it is confirmed.
It's been pretty confirmed, at this point. Yeah.
And I love that we're going to already jump into that relationship and continue to expand the character and make the supers like the kind of central figures of the DC universe here under Gunn. And with Ulrich Thompson joining as Sinestro in Lanterns, I have to admit I'm not particularly familiar with the actor, but seeing all the comments and the just almost unanimous praise for him and that casting makes me very excited to see him tackle this kind of role, and such a complicated kind of character and figure to have. I'm curious if he'll already be established as the, kind of Sinestro core character that we have in the comics already in Lanterns, but we'll see as we go along. I'm very excited for Lanterns as a whole. Kyle Chandler is one of my favorite underrated actors. Clear Eyes, Full Hearts, Can't Lose. You can bring that to the Lanterns too. M and Aaron Pierre, I think they're going to do a fantastic job. I'm bought in on the hype train, man. Like, I'm not leaving Marvel behind. I'm ready for them to coexist and to continue to make each other better. Hopefully this competition will, continue to drive Marvel as it's getting an opportunity with bringing X-Men into the fold, Fantastic Four into the fold, another set of characters that I love so much and want to do really well. Hopefully it just drives both companies to just make better and better and better content as we go forward.
Yeah, we are getting that Superman movie and the Fantastic Four movie in the same month, which is a really exciting thing to think about. It's just an exciting thing to look at, and I'm with you, and I think we all are. Like, we all loved that trailer. I loved the trailer overall. I really love the vibe that we're going for here. But of course, because the internet ruins everything,
Yep.
the big conversation around has been around the shot of Corn Sweat's face as he's flying. You know what I'm talking about in the new.
Oh, he's doing the barrel roll.
Kind of.
Like the perspective shot where it's kind of like right on his face, and he's kind of like, And okay, do I love that kind of shot in a movie? Not particularly. Is it not a big deal? It's not. To me, it's 0% a big deal. And it's a shot that we have seen James Gunn use before, like Adam Warlock, for example, in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. The exact same shot. Like, that's just a thing. He likes to do those shots, And of course, like, people were just like tearing this movie up online. Like, oh, it looks so stupid. Here's Henry Cavill taking off, and look how good that looks, and look how bad this looks. And it's a big downgrade, and it's CGI. And James Gunn even came out and was like, it's not CGI. It's literally a camera on David Cornsweat's face. So you have all that conversation, and I just need to say that, I just missed when we enjoy things, like I just missed that. Like, why do we have to do this? Like, why do we have to look at everything and be like, well, this one shot ruins all of it for me or whatever. And it's not like this thing. It's got to be like that thing. And since it's not, it's bad or whatever. It's just like, it's exhausting. And I hate that type of stuff. And even if it's not your bag or whatever, I think there's a lot to be excited about with Superman. And I do want to mention real quick as well that James Gunn also came out this week and said that he has started writing his next movie, which is exciting. And we don't know anything about it. We don't know what he's talking about. I mean, we can theorize, I guess, if we want to, but he did come out and say that. So there is a vision for the DCU. We are going somewhere with it. They have started filming early, which I love about James Gunn. He films these things early. He gives a lot of time for the CGI. He does not rush it. And I think these are all good signs. Like, this is all pointing to a universe that I think, if you're not a person that bags on everything, you should be excited about on some level. Unless you just hate stuff to hate stuff and then, have a great time, I guess.
Yeah, I'm right there with you on the just why you gotta hate on stuff that you just don't know about yet.
You must be new here.
I think that the truth has borne out over time that the versions of these characters, of superhero characters that show up and have a dose of hope and brightness and are willing to be silly like the comics a little bit, like with their bright colors and like not shy away from that stuff. Those versions generally are more successful financially, I think. I think that a big part of DC's problem over the last years is that commitment to that Snyder vision. And I think a few of the ones that like kind of broke that mold, I think the first Wonder Woman movie and still that last fight might have felt kind of Zack Snyder-esque, but like the overall movie was a lot brighter and more hopeful. And the same thing with Aquaman. Those movies, like they kicked butt in the box office. I think that people look for that, and there are fanboys who want everything to be that Frank Miller Dark Knight, and like not everything needs to be that. Like we need that. That's great, but we don't need everything to be that. So yeah, I'm just really excited for this movie.
Yeah, I think you guys covered the unnecessary backlash pretty well. So the only thing that I will add is, like, much like with the Captain America story, I think this is just a byproduct of the news cycle for these things becoming a 24-hour news cycle. Everybody always has eyes on, like, every little thing, every little first image that comes out, and they want to examine it with a microscope. So we here don't do that, but there are people with a platform that they do just want to hate on everything, and even if they don't have anything to say, they will just complain and criticize just to have something to talk about. So all that being said, my big takeaway when I honed in on the new footage when he did the barrel roll, to quote Peppy from Star Fox 64, do a barrel roll. He did the barrel roll. That was awesome. And then we did get the little shot of Nicholas Holt's Lex Luthor clearly in that Arctic environment. So I think, it was a lot of people probably suspected, or it was a foregone conclusion, that when you see Superman laying in the ice kind of defeated like that, chances are Lex Luthor probably had a hand in that. But just to kind of start to see how the scenes are going to work together, even with just a little bit of extra footage, was exciting to me. Millie Alcock, happy for her, looking forward to learning more about Supergirl, but when all you're showing me is the character sitting in a chair with the logo, felt a little unnecessary for me. If we wanted to really make a splash with the first look at this movie, we could have done something a little bit better. But yeah, I remain excited for everybody involved with that project. But then, yeah, coming back to the Lanterns casting, Reed, you mentioned that you weren't super familiar with Ulrich, and I didn't think I was either. But when I looked back on his filmography, he's worked a lot in TV, but I haven't touched anything that he's done in TV. I know Banshee. A lot of people love Banshee. That's where Anthony Starr from The Boys got his start. But he has appeared in a number of films, including Kingdom of Heaven from I think that was 2007, 2008. But
yeah,
I can't tell you who he was, who he played in any of the films that I recognize. So I think that speaks to his ability to disappear into roles, and it also kind of highlights the fact that he's a character actor. But yeah, looking at the age, Kyle Chandler is 59. Makes sense that we're going to have an older version of Hal Jordan. Sinestro should be as old as him, if not a little bit older. So you brought up the point there, Reed. Are we going to see a fully established Sinestro with a Sinestro core? I think so. And I think, given this actor's age, again, hope, he lives a long and healthy life and everything like that. But in terms of even how long he wants to work or be on a project like this that probably involves the prosthetics and just the makeup for the CGI, I just more and more I'm suspecting that Hal Jordan and probably characters like Sinestro are going to be a little bit more short-lived in this DCU, just to set up more legacy characters like John Stewart.
Yeah. And just to, I could see where, they'll build up, just like Hal is going to build up John Stewart, Sinestro could be building up some other force that's going to be a, central figure to whether it's the cosmic side of all of this or, just a foil to John Stewart through this. Sure. Yeah, I could totally see that.
I guess there also remains the possibility that Hal Jordan could just go bad. He did it in comics, so maybe he takes out Sinestro and takes his place.
And you have a very versatile actor in Kyle Chandler who can handle, whether it's playing a heroic, noble kind of character or a jerkish asshole or, straight kind of a little sociopathic villain. I would love to see him just tackle all of it as Hal Jordan. Yeah. And, we could, especially when they described Lanterns as almost True Detective style, I think is how they introduced this when James Gunn was first announcing everything. That's very exciting to me. And to, as it's going to be a HBO and Max production, I've got nothing but full faith in it. If HBO has faith in it, I have faith in it. And to see where this goes.
Yeah. After Penguin, I'm pretty excited for another DC show that is planning to take a very serious look at the Green Lantern Corps. That sounds exciting as hell.
Do you all know if Waller is still happening? I remember that was something that was announced a while back.
Gunn came out and said maybe a couple of months ago, every single project that has been announced is still in some form of development.
Okay.
He did say that, but then again, James Gunn says a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Batman Brave and the Bold would like to speak to you.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Something that this all makes me think about is I worry sometimes about the longevity of the universes, just in general. When I think about the Marvel Universe and I think about the passing of the torch, how it has been sort of fumbled in the at least financial success arena, and if we lose the original Cap and the original Stark or the original Iron Man, original Hulk, if we lose these actors and characters, is the universe sustainable? And then I think about what Gunn's setting up here, and sometimes I worry because he's not doing a lot of origin stories, it seems. They're jumping into a universe already existing, and they're doing a lot of hey, it's Superman. There's tons of other heroes around. There's villains around. It's the Green Lantern Corps. We're already on John Stewart. they're not taking the time to build into those things. And it worries me that like this story it has a finite shelf life or something. Like I get worried about that, which is a weird thing to worry about, but I do. But then I think about it from like James Gunn's perspective and the studio's perspective. If they can put together a 10-year run like Marvel had, they would take that any day. You know what I mean? Like they don't need, like I sit here and think, because I love a connected universe and because I'm a Star Trek fan, I think 50 years down the road and I'm like, oh, you're using Jon Stewart already? Like you gotta pace yourself. You got 50 years to go. But like any studio is just like, no, these things get rebooted. We just need to put together a killer 10 years. You know what I mean? And like, this could be that great killer 10 years.
Yeah, we do have like the Marvel sort of spoiling going on where we have like all the Avengers movies and all that and all the team ups, and we lose sight of the fact that is rare. I mean, if you have a run where you've established all of these Justice League characters and they're in their own really cool, well-received projects across television and film, and then if you do like one Justice League movie with them, that is a win. Like you have won. Sure. Like you did it. You know, like it's we kind of think about like, well, they have to keep being in these movies for 25 years or whatever, and man, it's just not really realistic. So you really just got to focus on just the few stories ahead, and that can lead to something big. But then you don't have to keep doing it over and over and over again. If you do it once, hey, like put your flag in it, and you did something cool.
You just watched a clip from Multiverse News. If you liked it, go to our channel. We got a whole episode that it comes from. So go check that out and hit the like and subscribe. And we got lots of clips you'll enjoy, but also full hour-long episodes of Multiverse News with lots of things that don't even make it to clips. So check us out.
You stay clippy.